So, after a week of sitting on Season 2's finale of Peacemaker, looking back on it makes me hate it even more. Now, this isn't the biggest piece of shit on television, although it is a huge step back on Gunn's roster, and a huge disappointment for something we waited 3.5 years for. And it's actually extremely upsetting for me, because I was actually a huge fan of Season 1, and knowing where the story was piloted from there gives me a huge distaste for ever watching this show again. Now, before I dive into the mess that's Season 2, I thought it would be very important to quickly go over what made Season 1 so enjoyable. So before most of the world knew what the fuck a Peacemaker was besides comic book fans, John Cena was cast into the role for the Suicide Squad, and from there immediately spawned a brand new superhero show. Helmed with Gunn's magic and a completely tonally different piece of superhero TV, this show was in a way a first of its kind. Now, before this show even existed, you had hard, dark, and edgier shows like Daredevil, The Punisher, and even The Boys, and on the other side, an endless amount of mediocre MCU shows. And of course, as everybody knows, this show made its presence well known instantly as the opening title hit. It is one of the best intros for any TV show I've seen, and it's a shame the sophomore season couldn't stick the intro's landing. I found myself skipping it at least twice throughout the show. So for the humor in Season 1, it's golden. It does at times try extremely hard, but I'm easy to please. I understand it's basically a Joss Whedon format of cram as many jokes in as possible in a 40-minute window, but it didn't bother me as much as it did others. And one of my favorites is definitely when Cena off script names like 100 different people at once. Just a quick
Mario, Super Mario, fucking Luigi.
As seen from Guardians of the Galaxy and Creature Commandos, James Gunn is so skilled at making us fall in love with super side characters from mainline comic book series. And hell, I would say Vigilante became a person who's very relatable, and the general consensus became him was basically the best character in the show alongside Cena as Peacemaker. And it was very surprising seeing John Cena cast into a role I didn't really think he could play, but his passion and charisma shines in this whole entire show, and not only the parts that he dances in his underwear, but in every totally serious scene that he portrays. I mean, seeing him band together and bounce off the other group members was so damn satisfying. Harcourt, Economus, Clemson, and Leota, they were all such great characters beginning to end, and I was just so glad to see that they were given something to do, with a standout performance coming definitely from Jennifer Holland, Robert Patrick, and as well as Cena, and Freddie Stroma in fact. But in all, with a tight story, funny set pieces, humor, and fun action, the first season is definitely a standout to me, an 8.3 if you will. And the years that followed Season 1 to the second season, I was so excited to see how the rebrand and the restart of the DCU under James Gunn was beginning, since Superman and Creature Commandos. And man, it was a huge fucking disappointment. So I feel like Season 2 was made more to just introduce Peacemaker into the overall DCU without having to really remake his introduction by introducing the multiverse. I didn't really like that they went that route with the multiverse because it just sucks in the MCU, apart from No Way Home of course. So immediately we open Season 2 with the change of Peacemaker seeing the Justice Gang rather than the Justice League. And I like this because it's an easy fix that won't confuse anyone instead of just erasing it entirely. Now, my biggest gripe is that I just don't like from the whole season that it's just so floppy with what's canon and what isn't. Sure, we got that introduction at the very beginning that kind of summarized everything from the first season and the movie that existed, but I don't know, it's still so confusing to me. I think it would have been better for them to just have released a YouTube video or made a fucking hour-long episode before Season 2 dropped that just recapped everything and put it all into a ball from the movie and Season 1, because it just feels so weird trying to figure everything out just to be able to watch the brand new season. And of course, with the new intro, it grew on me a little bit, but it's really lost its charm that made the first seasons so damn good. I mean, I didn't even think the dances were as good in the second season's intro, unfortunately. Now, as it comes to actually liking the episodes, I actually was really fond of episode 1. Now, however, that changed with the remaining 7 because I just struggled so hard to stay focused with it. I found myself constantly going on my phone, which is never a good sign when it comes to watching a TV show. And a majority of that reason definitely had to come from the characters. Most of the characters I had forgotten about, and a lot of their character arcs were either non-existent or so boring this season. From what I heard, most people hated Rick Flag, and in the new show, I enjoyed watching him. But I think that's mostly because I'm a Frank Grillo fan and I love the material that he's always in. Vigilante, Hardcore, and even Peacemaker and the brother were awesome. But all the other characters were so fucking boring to watch, especially because the first 4 episodes didn't help at all because it just took the government half the fucking season just to break into Cena's house. Humor and the jokes weren't even as good as season 1. At its peak, it's definitely Vigilante with his doppelganger just fucking shooting the shit the whole time. But other than that, it was just so lame and lackluster. And it all has to go with Vigilante. I think he's the funniest character in the show. Even when he was with his mom, it was fucking hilarious. I also never thought I'd hear Lex Luthor drop an F-bomb, but now I can officially cross that off my bingo card, as well as it also gave me a chuckle. This is gonna
To a bear-sized man with dragon skin, butt fucking a glowing twink with cartoon eyes.
like, who the fuck wrote this script? Oh wait, you did. And I cannot be the only one that thinks the girl from the Minecraft movie is just so unfunny this season. She actually shined last season, and the script this time around just did not do it for me at all in the slightest. And I was really disappointed that we saw Eagly more than Vigilante 2, and I was just really bummed that our group left the alternate timeline and went back home. I thought they were gonna like just explore that world, and that world was gonna be the new DCU world with Superman. They would have had that fight scene, and then for the closing of that last episode, the Justice Gang would show up and everything would just go full circle. But then I forgot, everything from the first episode, and then I was extremely upset after that. And maybe he originally was gonna do that, but it didn't work out because then he made it into Nazi racist land. And even the last episode too just failed for me. It was fun seeing the lab dorks go to different dimensions, but the episode just kept dragging over and over. It just wouldn't end. I even thought I had to clean my ears out because when I heard the song Fucking My Heart in the Ass was playing, I was so shocked they put that in, but it was kind of funny to hear that in the episode. I'm not even going to put that song in this review. You should go look it up and listen to it. It is fucking diabolical. And the concert scene was cool, but I think everyone just expected and wanted more from this show, especially from the second season. And it closes out with Peacemaker stuck in Salvation with no third season in sight. And in all, it was just extremely underwhelming, mediocre, and basically a nothing burger. I think I would have to give this season like a 5.4. It's not complete trash, but for this to have been so high on my expectations, especially coming out the movie Superman, it's nothing more than a gigantic disappointment.